Good evening, welcome. Tonight we journey together through paths of awakening and recognition. The Buddha nature dwells within every being, waiting to be remembered. Before we begin, if your heart calls, share from which country you listen and what time it is there. From which corner of the world do you breathe with us? This sanctuary nurtures the inner garden where wisdom blossoms naturally. Here you can simply exist, inhale deeply, and let gentle words guide you inward. Everything you need already resides within you. We merely uncover what has always been present. If these whispers touch your depths, return whenever this quiet harbor calls. Subscribe to keep this refuge of peace always near. Now breathe slowly and arrive fully in this moment. The original face, seeing true nature. Within you lives a nature so luminous, so vast, that no action can tarnish it, and no achievement can improve it. This essence existed before you learned your name, before you gathered memories, before the world taught you who you should become. The Buddha called this your original nature, the face you wore before your parents were born. Tonight, we explore this timeless truth, that what you seek is not distant, but intimately present, closer than your breath, nearer than your heartbeat. In ancient times, a young monk named Kensho arrived at a mountain monastery, carrying one burning question. He bowed before the master and asked, "What is my original face, the one I had before I was born?" The master smiled gently and said nothing. Days passed, then weeks, and still the master offered no answer. Kensho sat in meditation, walked the mountain paths, performed his duties, but the question consumed him like a flame that would not diminish. One dawn, unable to sleep, Kensho wandered to a small pond hidden among pine trees. The water lay perfectly still, untouched by wind, mirroring the pale sky. He knelt at the edge and gazed into the clear surface. There he saw his reflection, his face looking back at him. But as he watched without thinking, without naming, something shifted. The reflection dissolved into pure seeing, awareness recognizing itself, emptiness meeting emptiness. In that moment, the question and the questioner disappeared together. Kensho rushed back to find his master sweeping leaves in the courtyard. Before he could speak, the master looked up and laughed with delight. "Ah, you have come home," the old teacher said. "Tell me, what did you find at the pond?" Kensho opened his mouth, but no words came. Finally he said, "I found nothing and everything." The master nodded. "Yes, your original face has no features, yet it sees. It has no form, yet it experiences all forms. You have always been wearing it." This teaching points to something extraordinary and immediate. Your Buddha nature is not something you must create through years of practice, not a prize awarded for spiritual achievement. It is what you are, what you have always been, beneath the layers of conditioning and identity. Like the sky hidden by clouds, your original nature remains untouched by the weather of your life. Joy does not add to it, sorrow does not subtract from it. It simply is, eternal and complete. The concept of original face invites us to distinguish between our constructed self and our true nature. We spend lifetimes building an identity from memories, preferences, accomplishments, and failures. We believe this accumulated self is who we are. But the Buddha taught that this constructed identity is like clothing worn by the body, useful but not essential, temporary but not ultimate. Beneath these garments lives your original face, the awareness that witnesses all experience without being changed by any experience. When Kensho saw his reflection dissolve, he encountered what Zen calls mu, the great emptiness that is simultaneously the great fullness. This emptiness is not a void or absence, but rather the spacious awareness in which all experience arises. Like a mirror that reflects everything while remaining unchanged, your Buddha nature receives the entire world without becoming the world. It is the knowing itself, the consciousness that illuminates every moment. Dogen Zenji, the great Japanese Zen master, wrote these words: Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing in everything and at every moment. He taught that mountains, rivers, grasses, trees, your own body and mind, all manifest this luminous nature. Nothing stands outside it, nothing lacks it. Even those who do not recognize their Buddha nature possess it completely. The sun shines equally on those who see it and those who close their eyes. As we rest here together, allow yourself to taste this teaching directly. Notice the awareness that knows you are hearing these words, receiving this voice. That awareness is not your thoughts, for it observes thoughts. It is not your emotions, for it witnesses emotions. It is not your body, for it experiences the body. What is this knowing presence? This is closer to your original face, the nature that has accompanied you through every moment of your existence, silent and constant as space itself. Now we gently transition, carrying this recognition forward. We have glimpsed the original face, the Buddha nature that existed before memory and will remain after forgetting. As we continue, we will explore how this same luminous nature expresses itself not only in human beings, but in all forms, all creatures, all existence. Let us walk together deeper into this mystery, where separation dissolves and everything reveals its secret unity. The stone Buddha in the garden. Buddha, nature in all things. Even objects we call lifeless carry the same nature that beats in your chest. This teaching challenges our ordinary way of seeing, our habit of dividing the world into living and dead, sacred and mundane, worthy and unworthy. Zen Buddhism reveals that Buddha nature is not reserved for breathing beings alone, but pervades stones, water, air, and earth. Tonight we explore how the universe itself is one vast expression of awakened nature, how separation is the illusion and unity is the truth. In a monastery nestled between mountains, a young disciple named Taigen devoted himself to caring for a stone Buddha in the garden. Each morning before dawn, he would sweep the path, wash the statue with clean water, and place fresh flowers at its feet. He believed that by honoring this Buddha image, he accumulated merit and moved closer to enlightenment. His devotion was sincere, his effort tireless, his heart full of reverence for the carved stone figure. One autumn morning, the master found Taigen polishing the Buddha statue with special care. The disciple looked up with bright eyes and said, "Master, I serve this Buddha faithfully. Surely this brings me closer to awakening." The master sat down on a nearby bench, picked up a small pebble from the path, and began rubbing it with his sleeve. Taigen watched, confused. "Master, what are you doing?" he asked. The master replied calmly, "I am polishing this stone to make it into a Buddha." Taigen laughed at what seemed absurd. "Master, you cannot make a stone into a Buddha by polishing it." The master looked at him with gentle eyes. "Then how can you make yourself into a Buddha by polishing that statue?" The words struck Taigen like a bell. He sat down suddenly, his understanding crumbling and reforming. The master continued, "The Buddha nature in that carved stone is no different from the Buddha nature in this pebble, in the broom you sweep with, in your own hands, in the morning air. Everything is already Buddha. Nothing needs to become what it already is. This story illuminates a profound teaching about the nature of reality. We often imagine that Buddha nature is a quality possessed by certain beings, perhaps humans who meditate, perhaps enlightened masters, but not present in rocks or clouds or empty space. Yet this is our conceptual mind creating divisions where none exist. Buddha nature is not like a possession that some have and others lack. It is the fundamental essence of reality itself, the suchness that includes everything without exception. The teaching of Buddha nature in all things invites us to see beyond our habitual categories. We have been trained to divide existence into hierarchies: conscious beings above unconscious matter, animals below humans, plants below animals, minerals at the bottom. But these divisions exist only in our thinking. The universe does not recognize them. The same energy that forms your body forms the mountain. The same atoms that compose your brain compose the ocean. Where you end and the world begins is a convenient fiction, useful for navigating daily life but not ultimately true. When we say a stone has Buddha nature, we are not suggesting it will someday wake up and become enlightened. Rather, we recognize that the stone is already a perfect expression of reality as it is. It does not pretend to be other than stone. It does not suffer from wanting to be more valuable or more spiritual. It simply exists in complete harmony with its nature. This is what Dogen meant when he wrote that mountains, rivers, and the great earth are the true human body. The awakened mind sees no separation between self and world. Thich Nhat Hanh taught us the word into being, pointing to how all things depend on all other things for their existence. The stone Buddha in the garden is made of minerals formed over millions of years, shaped by human hands, exposed to sun and rain, surrounded by air and earth. It does not exist independently, but only in relationship to everything else. When we see deeply, we realize that Buddha nature is not inside things as a hidden essence, but is the interconnected web of existence itself, the seamless fabric of reality. As you rest here, allow your perception to soften. Notice how you have drawn a boundary called skin, deciding that everything inside is you and everything outside is not you. But is this boundary real? The air you breathe in becomes your body. The food you eat becomes your cells. Your breath becomes the air that feeds trees. You are not separate from this room, this world. You are a temporary pattern in the endless flow of existence. This recognition is the beginning of experiencing Buddha nature directly, not as a concept, but as lived truth. Now we prepare to journey further into this recognition. We have seen that even stone carries the nature of Buddha, that all things are expressions of one reality. Next, we will discover how animals, unburdened by self-consciousness, embody this nature with spontaneous grace. Let us continue together, opening wider to the miracle that nothing is excluded from the awakened heart of existence. The wild dog's awakening. Natural enlightenment. Animals live the Dharma without knowing the word Dharma. They inhabit presence without practicing presence. They embody Buddha nature not through effort, but through simple being. Tonight, we explore how creatures of field and forest teach us what our complicated human minds often forget. That awakening is not something to achieve, but something to stop obscuring. In their directness, their complete absorption in each moment, animals demonstrate the effortless way. A monk named Rhiannon wandered the countryside, visiting temples and seeking teachings from every master he could find. He had studied texts, memorized sutras, sat countless hours in meditation, yet enlightenment remained elusive. He felt frustrated, wondering why awakening seemed to come easily to some, while he struggled despite his dedication. One winter afternoon, hungry and tired, he sat beneath a bare tree on the outskirts of a village, questioning everything he had been taught. As Rhiannon sat in his discouragement, a thin dog approached slowly from the village. The animal was clearly starving, its ribs visible through patchy fur, its eyes dull with hunger. But something in the dog's movement caught Rhiannon's attention. Despite its suffering, the creature moved with complete presence, sniffing the ground thoroughly, investigating each scent with total absorption. When it found a small scrap of food, it ate with absolute focus, not thinking about the past meal or the next one, just fully engaged in the experience of eating. Rhiannon watched, transfixed. The dog finished eating, then walked to a puddle and drank deeply, its entire being concentrated in the act of drinking. Afterward, it found a patch of weak sunlight, circled 3 times, and lay down. Within moments, the dog was asleep, its breathing steady and peaceful. No worry about tomorrow, no regret about yesterday, no self-consciousness about its condition, just complete presence in each activity, walking, eating, drinking, resting. Each moment fully lived, then released. Something broke open in Rhiannon's understanding. He saw with sudden clarity that this starving dog was more enlightened than he had been in all his years of practice. The dog did not try to be present, it simply was. It did not practice non-attachment, it naturally let each moment go. It did not study emptiness, it lived empty of self-concern. The Buddha nature that Rhiannon had been seeking in texts and teachings was expressing itself perfectly through this humble creature that had never heard of Buddhism. This realization points to a liberating truth. Buddha nature is not the result of cultivation, but the ground of being itself. Animals demonstrate this constantly. A bird singing at dawn does not think about singing, it simply sings. A cat stretching does not practice yoga, it embodies complete flexibility naturally. A deer startled in the forest does not carry the fear after danger passes. It returns immediately to peaceful grazing. This is what Zen calls natural mind. The uncomplicated awareness that exists before thinking divides experience into subject and object. Humans complicate what animals know instinctively. We live partly in memory, partly in anticipation, rarely fully present. We create a separate self, then spend our lives defending and promoting this fictional entity. We accumulate knowledge about enlightenment instead of being the awareness that is already enlightened. Animals are free from this burden. They have no self-image to protect, no spiritual status to achieve. They are simply expressions of life, doing what life does, moment after moment. Shunryu Suzuki Roshi spoke of beginner's mind, the mind that approaches each moment fresh and open, without preconception. He said, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Animals live perpetually in beginner's mind. Each morning is new, each experience complete, each moment an entire universe. This is the gift they offer those who observe them carefully, the teaching that enlightenment is not a distant goal, but the natural state we complicate with our seeking. The Buddha himself recognized this. In his teachings, he spoke of all sentient beings possessing Buddha nature, all creatures participating in the one consciousness that animates existence. The difference between human and animal is not in the presence or absence of Buddha nature, but in self-awareness. We humans have the mixed blessing of knowing we are aware, which allows us to lose ourselves in thought. Animals remain innocent of this burden and this possibility. As you prepare for sleep, imagine the simplicity of animal consciousness. Let yourself be like the dog Rhiannon encountered, fully present in breathing, completely absorbed in the sensation of rest, unburdened by concepts of spiritual progress. Your Buddha nature does not need improvement. It does not require more knowledge or better technique. It asks only that you stop complicating what is naturally simple. Stop seeking what is already present. Rest now in your original nature, as natural and effortless as a bird settling on its branch. We transition gently to our next exploration. We have learned from the dog's natural wisdom, the enlightenment that needs no teaching. Now we will discover how Buddha nature remains pure regardless of conditions, untainted even when appearances suggest pollution. Let us continue this journey deeper into the heart of what cannot be damaged or destroyed. The polluted stream. Purity within contamination. Your essential nature cannot be stained by experience, cannot be diminished by mistakes, cannot be corrupted by circumstances. This teaching offers profound relief to those who carry shame, regret, or the burden of imperfection. Even when your life appears muddied by confusion, anger, or ignorance, the Buddha nature within remains luminous and untouched. Tonight, we explore this liberating truth, that the fundamental purity of your being persists regardless of temporary conditions. In a village downstream from factories and tanneries, the water ran brown and foul. A young student named May walked beside this polluted river with her teacher, feeling despair at the ugliness humans had created. "Master," she said, "how can Buddha nature exist in something so contaminated? This water is poisoned, lifeless, repulsive. Surely Buddha nature cannot survive such corruption." The master stopped walking and knelt beside the murky flow. Cupping his hand to examine the liquid, the teacher held the dirty water up to catch sunlight, then let it trickle slowly back into the stream. "May, tell me, what is the essential nature of water?" The student thought carefully before answering. "Water is clear, flowing, life-giving. It nourishes all living things and adapts to any container." The master nodded. "Yes. And does pollution change the essential nature of water, or does it merely obscure that nature temporarily? If we were to filter this water, removing the factory waste and chemicals, what would remain?" May understood immediately. Pure water would remain. The contamination was never part of water's true nature, only something added that could also be removed. The master continued, "Your Buddha nature is like this water. Greed, hatred, and delusion are like the factory waste, real in their effects, but not part of your fundamental essence. You were not born with these afflictions built into your nature. They are learned, accumulated, habitual, but not ultimate. Beneath them, your original purity remains intact, waiting to be recognized." This teaching addresses one of the deepest human concerns. Have I damaged myself beyond repair? The Buddhist answer is a resounding no. You cannot destroy your Buddha nature through any action, thought, or condition. You can obscure it, cover it with layers of confusion, forget it entirely, but you cannot eliminate it. Like gold mixed with mud, the gold's essential nature remains unchanged. The work of practice is not creating something new, but removing what conceals what has always been present. The Buddha taught about the luminous mind, naturally radiant, but temporarily obscured by visiting defilements. These defilements are called visitors because they come and go. They are not permanent residents of your consciousness. Anger arises and passes, fear appears and dissolves, confusion clouds and clears. But the awareness that witnesses these changing states remains constant, like the sky that holds both storm clouds and sunshine without being changed by either. This teaching transforms how we relate to our difficulties. If you believe that harmful actions or negative emotions fundamentally corrupt your nature, then shame and hopelessness follow naturally. But if you understand that these are temporary obscurations of an essentially pure nature, then compassion and patience become possible. You would not hate a mirror for reflecting something ugly, knowing the mirror itself remains clean. Similarly, you need not hate yourself for experiencing or expressing difficulties, knowing your true nature remains untainted. The concept appears in the Tathagatagarbha teachings, which speak of Buddha nature as the womb of enlightenment present in all beings. Even those who commit harmful acts carry this potential for awakening. The pollution of karma affects manifestation and experience, but cannot destroy the fundamental ground. This is why rehabilitation is possible, why transformation happens, why people who have caused great harm can still awaken. The seed of Buddha nature sleeps even in the hardest heart, waiting for conditions that allow it to sprout. As you rest tonight, consider what you judge as polluted in yourself. What mistakes do you believe have permanently damaged you? What shame do you carry about thoughts, feelings, or actions? Now recognize that these are like factory waste in the stream, real but not essential, present but not permanent. Beneath all temporary contamination, your Buddha nature remains as pure as it was the day you were born, as clear as it will be the day you die. Nothing you have done or failed to do can touch this fundamental radiance. We gently move forward in our exploration. We have discovered that Buddha nature cannot be corrupted by conditions, that essential purity persists beneath apparent contamination. Next, we will explore how this nature remains constant even as forms change and break, how the unshakable exists within impermanence. Let us continue together into the heart of what cannot be destroyed. The broken bowl, unchanging within change. Everything you can see, touch, or name will eventually change form. Your body, your relationships, your possessions, your very sense of self, all dance the dance of impermanence. Yet within this constant transformation lives something that never changes, the awareness that witnesses all change without itself changing. Tonight we explore this paradox, how Buddha nature remains constant while everything else flows, how the eternal expresses itself through the temporary. The monastery of Silent Mountain treasured a ceramic bowl for 3 generations. According to tradition, the founding master had eaten his meals from this bowl, and it had been passed to each successive abbot as a symbol of lineage. The current abbot, a woman named Soen, kept the bowl on the altar, and during important ceremonies, it held offerings of rice and fruit. The monks treated this bowl with profound reverence, seeing it as a tangible connection to their lineage and teachings. During the autumn equinox ceremony, as Soen carried the bowl from the altar to present offerings, her foot caught on her robe. She stumbled, and the bowl flew from her hands. Time seemed to slow as the precious object arced through the air. Then it struck the stone floor and shattered into a dozen pieces. The assembled monks gasped, horrified. Some younger students began to weep. The destruction of such a treasured object felt like a spiritual catastrophe, a breaking of connection with the past. But from the back of the meditation hall came unexpected laughter. Old monk Hakuin, 90 years of age, sat rocking with mirth. The shocked monks turned to look at him. "Master Hakuin," they asked, "how can you laugh? Our precious bowl is destroyed." The old monk wiped tears of amusement from his eyes and spoke. "Foolish children, the bowl's Buddha nature was never in its shape. When it was whole, Buddha nature. When it is broken, Buddha nature. When these pieces return to dust, Buddha nature. The form changes, but the essence remains. You mourn the death of something that was never truly alive, while ignoring the deathless that observes your mourning. Sowen, the abbot, felt understanding bloom in her chest. She picked up the largest shard and held it up to catch the light. She said to the assembly, "We loved the form and forgot the formless. We clung to the container and forgot the space it held. This breaking is a teaching more valuable than the bowl's preservation. Impermanence has shown its face clearly. Now, can you see what remains when form changes? Can you recognize the Buddha nature that was present in the bowl, is present in these shards, and is present in the very grief you feel?" This story points to anicca, the teaching of impermanence that the Buddha placed at the heart of his understanding. Everything conditioned is impermanent. Your body changes from moment to moment, cells dying and being born. No two breaths identical. Your thoughts arise and vanish like waves on the ocean. Your emotions shift like weather. The world you inhabit transforms constantly. Mountains eroding, rivers changing course, cities rising and falling. To cling to any form as permanent is to guarantee your own suffering. Yet within this universal flux, Buddha nature remains unchanged. How can this be? Because Buddha nature is not a thing that changes, but the knowing of change itself. It is not a particular form, but the formless awareness in which all forms appear. When the bowl was whole, awareness witnessed wholeness. When the bowl broke, awareness witnessed breaking. The bowl changed, but the knowing remained constant. This awareness is your true nature, the Buddha nature, that neither comes into being nor ceases to exist. Pema Chodron teaches about groundlessness, the unsettling recognition that nothing solid exists to stand on. Everything shifts, nothing lasts. Impermanence rules without exception. Yet she also points to the unshakable ground of being itself, the awareness that remains present through all changes. This is the paradox. Absolute impermanence coexists with absolute presence. Everything changes, but the space in which change occurs does not change. The movie images flicker and transform, but the screen remains constant. The teaching invites a profound shift in identity. If you believe you are your body, aging terrifies you. If you believe you are your thoughts, confusion threatens you. If you believe you are your possessions, loss devastates you. But if you recognize yourself as the awareness that witnesses body, thoughts, and possessions, then change becomes less threatening. Forms may break, but what you truly are cannot be broken. The bowl shatters, but Buddha nature remains whole. Your body will eventually die, but the awareness that has accompanied you through your entire life does not die with it. As you settle into rest, notice how sensations arise and pass, how thoughts appear and dissolve, how even your sense of being an individual self fluctuates throughout the day. Everything changes, yet something remains constant. The knowing itself, the presence that witnesses all experience. Rest in this unchanging awareness, this Buddha nature that has never been born and will never die. Let forms change as they will. What you truly are remains untouched, whole, eternal, within the dance of time. Now we prepare to journey deeper into interconnection. We have learned that Buddha nature persists unchanged through all changes of form. Next, we will explore how this single nature expresses itself as the 10,000 things, how separation is illusion and connection is truth. Let us walk together into the forest, where all roots join beneath the surface. The bamboo forest, shared roots of being. The illusion of separation causes most human suffering. We believe we are isolated individuals, competing for resources, defending our boundaries, protecting what is ours from what is theirs. Yet beneath this appearance of separateness, all beings share one nature, one source, one Buddha nature expressing itself as the multiplicity of existence. Tonight, we explore interconnection, not as a pleasant idea, but as the fundamental structure of reality, the truth that changes everything. A hermit named Tenzo lived alone in a small hut at the edge of a vast bamboo forest. He had retreated from society to pursue enlightenment in solitude, believing that other people distracted him from his practice. Each day, he meditated, studied sutras, and cultivated what he thought was spiritual independence. He took pride in his self-sufficiency, growing his own food, drawing his own water, needing nothing from the world of attachments and complications that he had left behind. One spring morning, after years of solitary practice, Tenzo walked deep into the bamboo forest searching for young shoots to cook. As he dug around the base of one bamboo stalk, his spade struck something unexpected, a thick root running horizontally beneath the surface. Curious, he followed this root and discovered it connected to the neighboring bamboo. He dug further, more carefully now, and found that the root system continued, linking stalk after stalk. By afternoon, his hands blistered and dirty, he had traced connections throughout an entire grove. Tenzo sat back in amazement. What appeared above ground as individual bamboo plants, separate and distinct, was below ground a single organism. All the bamboo in this forest shared one root system, one source of nourishment, one underground body. When rain fell on one area, the entire system benefited. When disease threatened one section, the whole forest responded. The apparent separation was superficial, existing only at the level of visible stems. The deeper truth was unity, interconnection, shared being. That evening, Tenzo walked slowly back to his hermitage, but his steps felt different. He looked at his hut and realized it was built from bamboo of the forest, held together with rope made by village hands, covered with thatch grown in distant fields. His food came from seeds carried by wind and birds, nourished by soil created by countless microorganisms, watered by rain that had fallen as snow on mountains, then melted and flowed through rivers. His body was built from food, his breath exchanged with trees, his ideas learned from teachers now dead. Where was his independence? Where was his separation? Like the bamboo, he appeared individual, but was actually one expression of a vast interconnected whole. This realization reflects the teaching of Indra's net, an image from Buddhist scripture. Imagine an infinite net stretching in all directions, and at each intersection of threads there hangs a jewel. Each jewel reflects all other jewels, and those reflections contain reflections, endlessly. No jewel exists independently. Each one is what it is only in relationship to all others. This is the nature of reality. Every being, every atom, every moment exists only in relationship to everything else. Nothing has independent, separate existence. Dogen taught that mountains and rivers are your own body. This is not poetic exaggeration, but precise description. The oxygen you breathe was released by forests. The calcium in your bones came from exploded stars billions of years ago. The food you eat today will become your flesh tomorrow. The water in your cells has cycled through clouds, oceans, and other beings countless times. Where does your body end and the environment begin? There is no clear boundary, only a convenient fiction we maintain to navigate practical life. Thich Nhat Hanh gave us the word interbeing to point at this reality. We do not exist independently, but only in mutual dependence with all things. Looking deeply into a piece of paper, he taught, you can see the cloud that became rain that nourished the tree. You can see the logger who cut the tree and the food that sustained the logger. You can see the sun that powered the photosynthesis that created the wood. Nothing exists by itself. Everything is, existing only in relationship to everything else. This teaching transforms ethics naturally. If all beings share one Buddha nature, if we are all bamboo stalks of a single root system, then harming another is harming yourself. Helping another is helping yourself. The boundaries between self and other are provisional, useful for conversation, but not ultimately real. Compassion is not self-sacrifice, but recognition of our shared being. When I feed you, I feed the body we share. When I hurt you, I wound the nature we both embody. As you rest tonight, feel your breath connecting you to the trees outside your window. Feel your body made of earth and water and light. Feel your thoughts arising from a consciousness that has no clear owner. You are not a separate self, but a unique expression of the one Buddha nature that is experiencing itself through countless forms. Like waves on the ocean, each distinct in appearance, yet made entirely of ocean, you are simultaneously individual and universal. Rest in this belonging, this ultimate connection that cannot be broken, because it was never created. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You are the universe experiencing itself as you. We transition now with gentle awareness. We have discovered the shared roots beneath apparent separation, the unity that supports all diversity. Next, we will explore what happens when we extend Buddha nature beyond categories of worthy and unworthy, beyond judgments of good and bad. Let us continue into territory where compassion becomes radical and seeing becomes complete. The criminal and the saint. Buddha nature beyond judgment. Even in those who harm, Buddha nature remains present and complete. This teaching challenges our deepest instincts about justice, worthiness, and moral hierarchy. We want to believe that goodness earns Buddha nature and evil forfeits it, but reality operates by different principles. Tonight we explore the most difficult aspect of this teaching, that the fundamental nature of awakening exists equally in the compassionate saint and the violent criminal, undivided and unsullied. In a city racked by violence, a man named Kuro was sentenced to execution for terrible crimes. He had killed without remorse, caused immense suffering, destroyed families and futures. The entire city awaited his death with satisfaction, believing justice would finally be served. On the evening before the execution, a monk named Jiang requested permission to visit the condemned man in his cell. The guards were puzzled, the officials suspicious, but they allowed it. Jiang walked through the prison carrying nothing but his presence. Kuro sat chained in darkness, his face hard with defiance and despair. When Jiang entered the cell and sat across from him, the criminal spat on the floor. "Have you come to save my soul, monk? To make me repent so you can feel righteous? I am beyond saving. I am what I have done. Tomorrow I die, and good riddance to me." Jiang sat quietly, his eyes soft but steady, looking at Kuro with neither judgment nor pity. Finally the monk spoke. "I have not come to change you or save you. I have come to see you." "What is there to see?" Kuro snarled. "I am a monster, a murderer. Everyone knows what I am." Jiang leaned forward slightly. "I see a man who has caused great suffering, yes. I see actions that have created immense pain. But beneath those actions, beneath the story of this life, I see something else. I see the same Buddha nature that exists in me, in the guards, in your victims, in every being. You have buried it under mountains of harmful karma, obscured it with violence and hatred, but you have not destroyed it. You cannot destroy it. Tomorrow your body dies, but that luminous nature within you is deathless. For the first time in years, tears came to Kuro's eyes. He tried to speak but could not. Jan continued, "This does not erase what you have done. The harm is real, the consequences are real, and justice unfolds as it must. But you are not only your actions. At your deepest core, you are the same awareness, the same Buddha nature that exists in all beings. In your final hours, perhaps you can recognize this, not to escape consequences, not to feel better about yourself, but simply to know the truth of what you are beneath what you have done." This story confronts us with Buddhism's most radical teaching. Buddha nature is not earned through good behavior or lost through bad behavior. It is the fundamental ground of being, present before any actions occur and remaining after all actions cease. The teaching does not condone harmful behavior or suggest that actions do not matter. Karma is real, consequences are real, ethical distinctions are important for navigating the relative world. But at the absolute level, Buddha nature transcends our categories of good and evil. The Buddha taught that all sentient beings without exception possess the nature of awakening. He did not say all good beings or all pure beings, but all beings. This includes those we judge as evil, those society condemns, those who have caused terrible harm. Their Buddha nature is not diminished by their actions, though their actions create suffering for themselves and others. This is a teaching about the difference between our essential nature and our conditioned behavior, between what we are and what we do. Thich Nhat Hanh speaks of looking deeply with the eyes of compassion, seeing beyond the surface to the suffering that drives harmful behavior. He teaches that understanding is love's other name. When we see deeply enough, we recognize that those who cause harm are themselves suffering, acting from confusion, fear, and pain. This does not excuse their actions, but helps us see the Buddha nature even in them, the seed of awakening, waiting for conditions that allow it to grow. The teaching serves a profound purpose. It prevents us from placing anyone beyond the possibility of redemption. If we believe that harmful actions destroy Buddha nature, then we close the door to transformation. But if we know that Buddha nature persists regardless of actions, then change remains always possible. People who have committed terrible acts can awaken. Darkness can give way to light. No one is forever lost. This hope is not naive optimism, but recognition of the indestructible nature of our deepest being. As you rest, consider your own judgments. Who have you placed outside the circle of your compassion? Who do you believe has forfeited their basic goodness? Now recognize that Buddha nature makes no such distinctions. It exists in the addict and the saint, the generous and the selfish, the peaceful and the violent. This does not mean treating everyone identically or ignoring harmful behavior. It means recognizing the luminous core in all beings while responding wisely to their actions. It means never giving up on anyone's potential for awakening, including yourself. We move forward gently into new territory. We have seen that Buddha nature transcends moral categories, existing in all beings without exception. Now we explore how this one nature takes infinite forms, how the formless becomes form, how emptiness dances as the 10,000 things. Let us continue together into the mystery of manifestation, the cloud and the rain, forms of the formless. Buddha nature has no fixed form, yet takes every form. It is both the emptiness that contains all things and the fullness that expresses as all things. Tonight, we explore this paradox, how the unchanging becomes the changing, how the formless manifests as form, how one Buddha nature experiences itself as mountains, rivers, humans, animals, earth, and sky. This teaching dissolves the boundary between the spiritual and material, revealing that everything is sacred because everything is Buddha nature temporarily wearing a particular costume. In a mountain temple, a child named Lin asked her grandmother, who was a teacher, "Where do the clouds go when they disappear? Do they die?" The old woman smiled at the question that contained such depth. She took Lin's hand and led her outside to watch the afternoon sky. Together, they observed a large white cloud drifting above the peaks. As they watched, the cloud gradually thinned, became transparent, and seemed to vanish into the blue. Lin looked sad. "Grandmother, the cloud died." The teacher shook her head gently. "The cloud did not die, little one. It transformed. The water that formed the cloud is still here, just in a different form. Some became invisible vapor in the air. Some will gather again to form new clouds. Some will fall as rain tonight, becoming streams, entering the soil, being drunk by trees, flowing through roots and leaves. The cloud did not go away. It simply changed costumes. The water's essential nature remains. Only its appearance transforms." Lin thought about this carefully. "Then, grandmother, were we once clouds? Are we also water in different form?" The old woman laughed with delight. "Yes, exactly so. The water in your body fell as rain, was drunk by your mother, became her milk, became your flesh. You are the river and the cloud, the rain and the ocean, all dancing together. And more than this, you are also sunlight that evaporated the ocean to make the cloud. You are earth that minerals came from to build your bones. You are all of these things temporarily assembled in the form called Lin." "But grandmother," Lin continued, her face serious, "if I am all these things, then what am I really?" The teacher touched the child's chest gently. "What you really are is what was never born and will never die, the Buddha nature that takes temporary forms. Right now, it wears the form called Lin, a little girl with questions. Before, it wore the form of rain, of ocean, of stars. Later, it will wear other forms. The forms come and go like clouds, but what you are essentially never comes and never goes. It is the sky that holds all clouds, the emptiness that allows all forms. This teaching reveals the nature of manifestation itself. Buddha nature is like water, taking the shape of whatever container it fills, but never losing its essential water nature. In ice, it appears solid. In steam, it appears gaseous. In ocean, it appears vast. In dewdrop, it appears tiny. Yet all are water. All are expressions of the same nature. Similarly, Buddha nature appears as human, animal, plant, mineral, but remains Buddha nature regardless of temporary form. The Heart Sutra teaches that form is emptiness and emptiness is form. These are not two different things, but one reality viewed from different angles. Form is the way emptiness appears. Emptiness is the nature of form. The cloud is temporary form. The water is relatively stable form. The hydrogen and oxygen atoms are deeper form, but at the foundation is the formless, energy, space, consciousness itself. Buddha nature is this formless reality that becomes the universe of form. Alan Watts spoke of the eternal now expressing itself through time, the unchanging manifesting as change. He taught that you are not a separate being who came into this universe, but an expression of the universe itself. Just as the ocean waves, the universe peoples. You are the universe experiencing itself as a human being for a brief time. Your birth was not the beginning of you, but the beginning of this particular form. Your death will not end you, but only end this costume, this temporary manifestation. This understanding transforms grief and fear. If someone you love dies, the form dissolves, but the Buddha nature that wore that form continues. The ocean does not disappear when the wave subsides. The water in the cloud does not vanish when rain falls. Death is transformation, not termination. Birth is manifestation, not creation. You have been here always, wearing different forms, and you will be here always, continuing the dance of form and formlessness. Nothing is truly born. Nothing truly dies. There is only the endless play of Buddha nature taking shape and releasing shape. As you prepare for sleep, rest in this recognition. The body you wear is like the cloud, a temporary gathering of elements that will eventually disperse and reform. But what you are essentially never disperses, never reforms, never changes. You are the formless wearing form, the eternal playing in time, Buddha nature experiencing itself as you. Tomorrow when you wake, you will be a slightly different form than today. Some cells dead, new cells born, thoughts different, feelings changed. Yet the awareness that witnesses all this remains constant. Rest in that, the unchanging presence that watches all clouds come and go. We transition now with soft awareness. We have learned that Buddha nature takes infinite forms while remaining formless, that transformation is not death but continuation. Next, we will see how animals embody this teaching naturally, living the Buddha way without effort or self-consciousness. Let us continue together into the simplicity that contains all wisdom. The sleeping cat, effortless being. Trying to be enlightened prevents enlightenment. Effort to be natural creates artificiality. The desire to embody Buddha nature obscures the fact that you already are Buddha nature. Tonight we explore Wu Wei, the effortless action, the way of being without trying to be, through the teaching of a monastery cat that became an unlikely master. Sometimes the deepest wisdom appears in the simplest form, and the greatest teachers need no words. The monastery of Quiet Stream was known for serious practice. Monks rose before dawn, meditated for hours, studied texts, debated philosophy, and pushed themselves toward enlightenment with fierce determination. They were sincere practitioners, dedicated and disciplined, but many carried tension in their shoulders, worry in their minds, striving in their hearts. The abbot watched with concern, wondering how to teach them that awakening comes not through force, but through letting go. One day, a thin orange cat appeared in the monastery courtyard. No one knew where it came from, but it seemed content to stay. The monks fed it scraps, and it took up residence in the meditation hall, choosing a spot near the back where sunlight streamed through the window each afternoon. During meditation sessions, while the monks sat with intense concentration, backs rigid, minds fighting with thoughts, the cat would curl up in its patch of sun and fall asleep immediately, breathing softly, completely at peace. At first, the monks found the cat's presence annoying. Here they were, striving for enlightenment, and this animal slept without care. But gradually something shifted. They began to notice how completely present the cat was. When it ate totally. When it groomed fully. When it slept absolutely. When a moth flew past, the cat's attention became the moth, no separation between hunter and hunted. When the moth disappeared, the cat returned to rest instantly, carrying no residue of desire or disappointment. The abbot noticed monks spending their breaks watching the cat instead of reading sutras. One day he asked the assembly, "Tell me, who is the best practitioner of Zazen in this monastery?" The monks looked at each other, unsure how to answer without appearing proud. Finally, a young monk spoke hesitantly, "Master, I believe the cat practices Zazen better than any of us. It sits without trying to sit. It is present without effort. It embodies everything we are trying to achieve. but it does not try. The abbot smiled broadly. Yes, the cat is your teacher now. Learn from her the practice of not practicing, the being of not trying to be. This story illuminates a central Zen teaching. Enlightenment is your natural state, not an achievement or acquisition. Trying to become enlightened is like trying to become yourself, unnecessary and impossible. You already are what you seek. The work is not becoming, but uncovering, not adding, but subtracting, not achieving, but recognizing. The cat demonstrates this perfectly. It does not try to be a cat, it simply is. It does not practice presence, it is present. It embodies Buddha nature without self-consciousness or effort. Humans complicate everything with self-awareness. We think about thinking, feel about feeling, try to be natural, practice being spontaneous. This creates layers of artificiality. The cat has no such burden. It lives from its nature directly, no intermediate layer of self-consciousness. This is what Zen calls no mind or mushin. The state before thought divides experience into subject and object. The cat does not know it has Buddha nature. It simply is Buddha nature expressing itself as cat. Suzuki Roshi taught about Shoshin, beginner's mind. He encouraged students to approach practice like a cat, encountering each moment fresh, without preconception or expert knowledge. The cat does not meditate with one eye on enlightenment, comparing today's sitting to yesterday's, judging itself. It simply does what it does fully, then moves to the next moment. This wholehearted presence in each activity, without division or self-consciousness, is the essence of practice and the nature of awakening. The teaching of Wu Wei, effortless action, flows naturally from this understanding. When you act from your true nature, rather than from ego and effort, action becomes effortless. Not passive or lazy, but aligned with the natural flow of things. The cat hunting does not try to hunt. Hunting simply happens through the cat. The tree growing does not try to grow. Growth happens through the tree. When you stop trying to be enlightened and simply are, Buddha nature expresses itself naturally through your being. As you rest tonight, let yourself be like the sleeping cat. Do not try to sleep correctly or rest properly. Do not monitor your breathing or check your relaxation. Simply allow sleep to come or not come. Allow the body to be as it is. Allow thoughts to flow or stillness to settle. You are already Buddha nature. You do not need to achieve anything, become anything, or improve anything. Just be as natural and effortless as the cat in sunlight, completely yourself without trying to be. This is enough. This has always been enough. Now we prepare for the next turning. We have learned from the cat's effortless being, the natural perfection of not trying. Next, we explore the mirror of mind, the awareness that reflects all without being changed by any reflection. Let us continue together into the clarity that holds all experience while remaining pristine and untouched. The mirror mind, pure awareness. Your true nature is like a mirror, reflecting everything that appears but never becoming what it reflects. Thoughts arise in your awareness like images in a mirror. Emotions pass through like clouds across glass. Experiences come and go like reflections. Yet the mirror itself, the awareness that holds all experience, remains unchanged, unpolluted, eternally clear. Tonight we explore this mirror mind, the Buddha nature that witnesses all while being identified with nothing. Two monks, Gento and Sachi, were arguing in the courtyard. Gento insisted that Buddha nature was like a mirror, reflecting reality without distortion. Sachi disagreed, claiming that Buddha nature was beyond all metaphors and comparisons. Their debate grew heated, each convinced of his understanding and determined to prove the other wrong. They finally agreed to ask their teacher to settle the argument. The master listened to both positions, then led them to her chambers without saying a word. In the teacher's room stood a large bronze mirror on a wooden stand. The master positioned the two monks in front of it. "Look at this mirror," she said. "What do you see?" Gento answered first. "I see our reflections, master. The room behind us, the window, the light." Sachi added, "I see two monks who were foolishly arguing, their faces still flushed with debate." The master nodded. "Yes, and does the mirror change based on what it reflects? When it shows Gento's face, does it become Gento? When it reflects an angry face, does it become angry?" Both monks answered together, "No, master. The mirror remains unchanged." The teacher continued, "Now what is the nature of the mirror itself? Describe the mirror without mentioning what it reflects." The monks struggled with this. Sachi said, "The mirror is smooth, reflective." Gento added, "It is clear, empty of its own content." The master smiled. "Yes, empty yet able to hold all images, clear yet showing everything, unchanging yet displaying constant change. This is your true nature, the awareness that experiences everything while being changed by nothing." The master walked to the window and gestured for them to follow. "Now," she said, "look at the sky." A bird flew past, clouds drifted, the sun shone steadily. "Tell me, when the bird flies through the sky, does the sky become bird-shaped? When the cloud passes, does the sky turn grey? When storms rage, is the sky damaged?" The monks understood. The sky holds all weather without becoming the weather. It is never disturbed, never stained, never diminished. Yet without sky, there could be no bird flight, no cloud drift, no storm. This teaching points to the distinction between awareness and content of awareness, between the knower and the known. You are not your thoughts because you observe thoughts. You are not your emotions because you witness emotions arising and passing. You are not your body because you experience the body as an object in consciousness. What you truly are is the experiencing itself, the awareness that makes all experience possible. This awareness is your Buddha nature, the mirror mind that has been with you every moment of your life. The mirror metaphor appears throughout Buddhist teaching. Huineng, the sixth patriarch of Zen, wrote a famous verse. "Originally there is no mirror stand, so where can dust collect?" He pointed beyond even the metaphor to the ultimate truth that Buddha nature is not a thing that could be like another thing. Yet for those of us still learning to recognize our true nature, the mirror image offers valuable guidance. See yourself as the mirror, not the reflections. Identify with awareness, not with the contents of awareness. This recognition transforms suffering. When you believe you are your thoughts, painful thoughts feel threatening. When you believe you are your emotions, difficult emotions seem overwhelming. When you believe you are your circumstances, challenging situations define you. But when you recognize yourself as the awareness that witnesses all of these, you gain space and freedom. The storm passes through the sky, but does not damage it. Difficult experiences pass through awareness, but do not diminish it. The practice is simple, but profound. Throughout your day, notice the awareness that is noticing. When you think, become aware of the awareness that knows you are thinking. When you feel, recognize the space in which feeling occurs. When you experience, notice the experiencing itself. This awareness, this knowing presence, is always here, constant as space, clear as mirror, untouched by the drama of your life. This is your Buddha nature, your original face, your true home. As you rest tonight, let thoughts and sensations be like reflections in a mirror or clouds in the sky. They appear, they move, they disappear, but you remain. The awareness watching this process is what you truly are. It has no problems, no stories, no past or future. It is simply here, now, witnessing whatever appears with perfect equanimity. Rest as this awareness, this mirror mind, this Buddha nature that has never been stained and cannot be stained. Let everything come and go while you remain eternally still at the center. We transition gently to our next teaching. We have discovered the mirror mind, the awareness that reflects all while remaining pristine. Now we explore the breath that connects all beings, the shared air that reveals our fundamental unity. Let us continue together into the intimacy of our interconnected existence. The shared breath, unity in breathing. Every breath you take connects you to every being that breathes. The oxygen entering your lungs was released by forests. The carbon dioxide you exhale will feed plants tomorrow. The very air molecules in your chest have cycled through countless beings across time. Tonight we explore breath as a gateway to recognizing Buddha nature, not as individual possession, but as shared reality flowing through all life. In this simple, continuous exchange, separation dissolves and unity reveals itself. A teacher named Yun gathered her students in a circle under ancient pine trees. She asked them, "Where does your breath come from? Where does it go when you exhale?" The students offered various answers. One said, "Breath comes from my lungs." Another said, "It comes from the air around me." A third suggested, "It comes from oxygen produced by plants." Yun listened patiently, then asked a deeper question. If you trace your breath back far enough, where does it truly originate? Can you find a beginning? The students sat in silence, following their breath backward. One student spoke slowly. "The oxygen in my breath came from these pine trees above us. The trees created it through photosynthesis, using sunlight. So my breath comes from the sun's energy, transformed by trees." Another student added, "But the trees need carbon dioxide, which comes from breathing animals, including us. So our breath feeds the trees that create our breath. We are breathing each other into existence." A third student said softly, "And the sun's energy comes from nuclear fusion, which comes from hydrogen formed after the Big Bang. My breath originates with the birth of the universe." Yun smiled with satisfaction. "Yes, your breath has no private origin. It is not yours alone, but belongs to the great circulation of life. The oxygen you breathe right now was once breathed by your grandmother, by ancient prophets, by dinosaurs millions of years ago. The water vapor in your exhale will become rain, will enter soil, will be drunk by deer, will evaporate and return to clouds. You are not breathing alone. You are participating in the one breath of earth, the continuous exchange that connects every living thing." One student asked, "Teacher, if breath connects all beings, does this mean we share one Buddha nature?" Yun responded, "What do you think? If the oxygen in your body came from trees, and trees survive through breath from animals, and all breath cycles through all beings, where does your life end and the tree's life begin? Where is the boundary between you and the forest?" The students sat breathing consciously now, feeling the air enter and leave, sensing the invisible threads connecting them to trees, to each other, to all life everywhere. This teaching makes abstract interconnection tangible and immediate. You do not need to believe in interbeing. You can experience it directly through breath. Right now, as you breathe, you are exchanging matter and energy with your environment. The boundary of your skin is permeable, constantly crossed by air, heat, moisture. You are not a closed system, but an open process, continuous with the world around you. This openness, this exchange, is how Buddha nature manifests, as the flow of life itself, undivided and whole. Thich Nhat Hanh taught a practice called conscious breathing, where you simply acknowledge the miracle of breath. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. This simple awareness reveals profound truth. The breath you draw now sustains your life, and you did not create this breath. It is given by trees, by oceans that release oxygen, by the atmosphere itself. Your life is not self-created, but continuously received as gift from the entire web of existence. The Buddha taught anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, as a fundamental practice, not to control breath, but to witness it, to recognize it as a bridge between body and mind, between self and world, between the personal and the universal. When you follow breath deeply, you discover it has no owner. It moves through you like wind through a flute, creating sound but belonging to no one. Your Buddha nature is like this. Not a possession, but a participation. Not something you have, but something you are part of. In deep meditation, the sense of breathing personally dissolves. There is just breathing happening, breath moving through this body as it moves through all bodies, as it moves through the lungs of the planet. The one who breathes and the breath being breathed merge into one continuous process. This is not poetic imagination, but literal truth. You are the breath of the earth breathing itself through your lungs, the universe experiencing breathing through this temporary form called you. As you settle into rest, let your breath be natural and unforced. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, then releasing warm and moist. With each inhale, receive the gift of life from the forest, from the ocean, from the great breathing body of earth. With each exhale, offer your gift back to the plants that need it, to the continuation of life. You are not breathing alone. You are joined in the one breath, the shared Buddha nature that flows through all beings without beginning or end. Rest in this belonging, this ultimate intimacy with all that lives. We move gently forward now. We have experienced the shared breath, the circulation that connects all life in mutual dependence. Next, we will explore how Buddha nature makes no distinction between worthy and unworthy, how even what we judge as unwanted carries the same sacred essence. Let us continue together into the democracy of the sacred, where nothing is excluded. The weed in the temple, a quality of nature. We divide the world into categories, wanted and unwanted, valuable and worthless, sacred and profane. But Buddha nature recognizes no such divisions. It expresses itself equally in the carefully cultivated temple flower and the wild weed pushing through cracks in stone. Tonight, we explore how our judgments create illusions of hierarchy, while reality remains stubbornly egalitarian. Every form, every being, every expression of life embodies the same Buddha nature without degree or distinction. In a famous temple known for its meticulously maintained gardens, a young monk named Taro took pride in his work. He weeded every morning, ensuring only approved plants graced the sacred grounds. Roses, lotus, cherry blossoms, each plant selected and positioned according to tradition. One spring morning, Taro discovered a dandelion growing in the center of the main courtyard, its yellow flower bright against carefully raked gravel. He felt offended, as if the weed had violated holy space. Taro knelt to pull out the intruder, But before his hand reached it, a voice stopped him. "Leave it." The head teacher, ancient and rarely seen, stood watching. "Master," Taro protested, "this is a weed. It does not belong in our sacred garden. It is common, unwanted. It spreads uncontrollably if allowed." The old teacher walked slowly to the dandelion and knelt with difficulty. He gazed at the flower for a long moment. "Tell me, Taro, who decided this plant is unwanted? Who declared it common while those roses are noble?" Taro struggled to answer. "Everyone knows, Master. Dandelions are weeds. They grow everywhere without care. They have no value." The teacher touched the yellow petals gently. "This flower emerged from a seed, just like the roses. It photosynthesizes sunlight, creates oxygen, offers nectar to bees. Its roots break up compacted soil. Its leaves are edible and medicinal. It reproduces abundantly, which you call a fault. But is this not the definition of success in nature? It thrives where delicate plants die. Is this weakness or strength?" The teacher continued. "You call it common because it is democratic, growing for rich and poor alike. You call it unwanted because humans decided to want other plants instead. But did the Buddha nature consult you before expressing itself as dandelion? Does the sacred require your approval to manifest? This flower is Buddha's flower, just as much as the lotus in our pond. Perhaps more so because it needs no special care, no cultivated garden, no human permission. It simply is, perfectly itself, asking nothing." Taro felt his understanding crack open. He looked at the dandelion with new eyes and saw the perfection he had been blind to, the geometric precision of the flower head, the elegant structure of leaves, the tenacious vitality of root. "Master," he asked quietly, "should we remove all distinctions then? Should we let weeds overtake the garden?" The teacher smiled. "We can cultivate certain plants for beauty or ceremony or tradition. This is useful for human purposes. But never forget, our categories are not ultimate truth. Buddha nature flows equally through wanted and unwanted, cultivated and wild. The dandelion is no less sacred than the rose. This story challenges our fundamental habit of ranking and judging. We create hierarchies everywhere. Some lives more valuable than others, some work more important, some people more worthy. But Buddha nature is not distributed according to our value systems. It does not concentrate in beautiful things and avoid ugly ones, does not grace the impressive and skip the ordinary. It expresses itself with complete equality through all forms. The weed and the flower, the insect and the human, the broken and the whole, all embody the same Buddha nature. Dogen wrote extensively about this equality. He insisted that grasses and trees are Buddha nature, that rocks and soil are Buddha nature, that nothing in existence stands outside the sacred. This was not metaphor for him, but precise description of reality. The artificial categories we create, naming some things spiritual and others mundane, reflect our confusion, not the nature of things. In truth, everything is Buddha nature temporarily manifesting, playing at being this form or that form. The teaching liberates us from exhausting discrimination. You do not need to be exceptional to embody Buddha nature. You do not need to cultivate special qualities or achieve impressive accomplishments. Like the dandelion, you simply need to be what you are. Your ordinariness is not a failure, but a fact. Your commonness is not a limitation, but your participation in the great democratic truth that Buddha nature excludes nothing and no one. This recognition extends naturally to how we see others. When you stop dividing people into worthy and unworthy, superior and inferior, you see Buddha nature looking back at you from every face. The homeless person, the confused teenager, the difficult colleague, the elderly person with dementia, All embody the same sacred essence that you embody. Their circumstances differ, their behaviors vary, their development may seem more or less advanced, but their fundamental nature remains equal to yours and to everyone's. As you rest tonight, release your judgments about yourself. You are not too ordinary to be sacred. You are not too flawed to embody Buddha nature. You are not too common to be precious. Like the dandelion that needs no temple garden to be Buddha's flower, you need no special circumstances to be an expression of awakened nature. You already are what you seek. The Buddha nature in you is identical to the Buddha nature in all beings. No greater in saints, no lesser in sinners, no different in you than in anyone who has ever lived. Rest in this equality, this fundamental democracy of the sacred. We transition softly now. We have discovered that Buddha nature makes no distinctions, that all beings equally embody the sacred. Next, we explore emptiness not as void but as infinite potential, the empty hand that holds all possibilities. Let us continue together into the paradox of emptiness that is fullness, the nothing that contains everything. The empty hand. Emptiness as fullness. Emptiness is the most misunderstood teaching in Buddhism. Many hear the word and imagine nihilism, absence, meaninglessness. But Buddhist emptiness is not barren void, it is pregnant potential, the openness that allows all things to exist. Tonight, we explore sunyata, the teaching that Buddha nature is empty of fixed identity, yet full of infinite possibility. The empty hand holds nothing and therefore can hold everything. This paradox unlocks the deepest understanding of what you truly are. A student named Kenji approached his teacher with frustration. "Master, I have studied for 3 years, meditated daily, read countless texts, but I still cannot find my Buddha nature. Please, show it to me directly. I am ready to see it." The master looked at Kenji with gentle amusement. "You have been searching for 3 years. Where have you been looking?" Kenji gestured broadly. "Everywhere, master. In meditation, in daily activities, in nature, in teachings. I have looked everywhere, but cannot find it." The master slowly extended his right hand, palm up, fingers open. "Here," the teacher said simply. "Here is your Buddha nature." Kenji stared at the empty palm, confused and somewhat offended. "Master, I see nothing. Your hand is empty. There is nothing there to show me." The teacher smiled. "Exactly so. You see nothing, and this nothing is everything. Do you understand?" Kenji shook his head, thinking perhaps the teacher was mocking him or testing his patience. The master closed his hand briefly, then opened it again. "When my hand is closed, it holds nothing. When it opens, it still holds nothing. Yet this empty hand can hold water, can hold seeds, can hold the hand of a child, can create pottery, can write sutras, can express compassion through touch. Because it is empty of fixed content, it can hold all content. Because it grasps nothing permanently, it can engage everything temporarily. This is the nature of Buddha nature, empty of inherent existence, therefore full of infinite potential." Kenji began to understand. "Master, are you saying Buddha nature is not a thing I can find because it is not a thing at all?" The teacher nodded. "Buddha nature is not an object among objects, not a possession you can locate and claim. It is the openness, the spaciousness, the emptiness that allows your existence and all existence. Like the empty interior of a cup that makes it useful, like the empty space in a room that makes it livable, Buddha nature is the emptiness that makes experience possible." This teaching of emptiness, sunyata, sits at the heart of Buddhist philosophy. Emptiness does not mean nothingness, but rather absence of independent, permanent, separate self-nature. Nothing exists by itself, from itself, as itself eternally. Everything exists in relationship, in flux, in dependence on everything else. This absence of fixed being is what we call emptiness. And paradoxically, this emptiness is what allows the fullness of existence to manifest. The Heart Sutra declares, "Form is emptiness, emptiness is form." This is not contradiction but profound insight. The forms you see around you, including your body and mind, are empty of permanent separate existence. They are temporary patterns in the flow of reality, like waves on the ocean. Yet this very emptiness is what allows forms to arise. Because reality is not frozen into one configuration, change happens, life happens, experience happens. Emptiness is creative potential, the womb of all manifestation. Buddha nature is this emptiness. It is not a thing you possess, but the open awareness in which all experience arises. Like space that contains all objects while being no object itself, like silence that allows all sounds while being no sound, Buddha nature is the ground of being that has no qualities of its own and therefore can accommodate all qualities. It is empty, and this emptiness is its perfection, not its deficiency. When you search for Buddha nature as if it were a special experience or a hidden treasure, you miss the obvious. It is the searching itself, the awareness that motivates your search, the openness that allows questions to arise. You cannot find it because you are it. The eye cannot see itself. The hand cannot grasp itself. Awareness cannot become an object to itself. Yet it is always present, closer than breathing, more intimate than thought, the very ground you stand on while looking for ground. As you rest now, stop searching. Simply notice the open awareness in which all experience occurs. Notice how this awareness has no color, no shape, no location, yet holds all colors, shapes, and locations. Notice how it is empty of content, yet full of the capacity for all content. This empty awareness, this spacious knowing, this is your Buddha nature. Not something to achieve, but something to recognize. Not something to become, but something you have always been. Rest in this emptiness that is fullness, this nothing that is everything, this simple presence that requires nothing and lacks nothing. We move forward gently into new terrain. We have touched the empty fullness of Buddha nature, the spacious awareness that holds all experience. Next, we will sit with mountains, learning from their silent presence how stillness itself is Buddha nature, revealing its face. Let us continue together into the teaching of waiting, watching, simply being. The mountain's silence, stillness as presence. Mountains do not hurry, they do not achieve or accomplish. They simply stand, silent witnesses to the passage of time, embodying presence without effort. Tonight, we explore stillness not as the absence of activity, but as the deepest activity, the practice of being rather than doing. In mountain stillness, Buddha nature reveals itself as timeless awareness, the eternal now that watches all change while remaining unchanged. A monk named Takeshi climbed mountains seeking enlightenment. He had been to famous temples, studied with renowned teachers, practiced intensive meditation, yet he felt no closer to awakening. Each teaching seemed to promise that enlightenment was near, just beyond the next effort, the next retreat, the next breakthrough. Exhausted and discouraged, Takeshi decided to make one final pilgrimage to a sacred mountain peak. If enlightenment did not come there, he would abandon his search entirely. He climbed for 3 days, sleeping in caves, eating sparingly, pushing his body to its limits. When he finally reached the summit, he found a small shrine and a flat stone suitable for sitting. He settled into meditation with grim determination, telling himself he would not move until enlightenment came or death found him. Hours passed, then days. His legs ached, his mind raced, his body demanded food and water. Still he sat, waiting for the great experience that would transform him. On the fourth day, something shifted. Takeshi stopped waiting for enlightenment and simply sat. He noticed the mountain beneath him, solid and patient. He noticed how the mountain did not try to be a mountain, it simply was. It did not meditate or pray or seek awakening. It stood silent, hosting wind and snow, birds and pilgrims, storms and sunshine, without preference or resistance. The mountain was completely present, had been present for millions of years, would be present for millions more. In its stillness lived perfect awareness. Takeshi felt tears on his face. He realized he had been looking for something extraordinary, when the extraordinary was this: simple presence, silent being, the awareness that was here before his search began and would remain after his search ended. The mountain had been teaching him for 4 days, but only now could he hear its wordless sermon. Enlightenment was not a future achievement, but present recognition. Buddha nature was not hidden in some special experience, but obvious in simple awareness, the knowing that had witnessed his entire journey. This teaching reveals that Buddha nature is not found through accumulation, but through subtraction, not by adding more experiences, knowledge, or achievements, but by removing the layers of seeking, striving, and becoming. What remains when you stop trying to be enlightened? What is here when you cease the effort to improve yourself? The mountain demonstrates this: pure being without becoming, presence without progress, awareness without agenda. Ramana Maharshi taught that the self is always present, requiring no practice to reveal it. He said, "Your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world. This self is not something created through meditation, but something recognized in stillness. Like the mountain that does not become itself, but simply is itself, you do not need to become Buddha nature. You need only recognize what has always been true. Stop overlooking the obvious in favor of the exotic." Ajahn Chah, the Thai forest master, spoke often about stopping. He said the whole practice is just stopping the doing, the seeking, the endless movement of mind. In stillness, truth reveals itself naturally, not the stillness of a corpse, but the alive stillness of the mountain, present and aware, receiving all experience without resistance, letting all experience go without clinging. This is the stillness of Buddha nature, the awareness that is always here, always now. Mountains teach patience with our own unfolding. They were not built in a day, but formed over millions of years through countless small changes. Yet in another sense, they are always already complete, perfect in each moment of their existence. You are like this, simultaneously becoming and already complete. Your Buddha nature is already perfect, yet your recognition of it unfolds gradually. The mountain does not hurry its own formation, and you need not hurry your own awakening. It arrives in its own time, or rather, you arrive at what has always been present. As you rest tonight, imagine yourself as the mountain. Your body is the stone, solid and still. Your breath is the wind, passing through without leaving trace. Your thoughts are clouds, drifting across the sky of awareness, but never touching the mountain itself. Let yourself be still, not with forced rigidity, but with natural presence. You are not waiting for anything, not becoming anything, not achieving anything. You are simply being, simply aware, simply here. This is enough. This has always been enough. This stillness is Buddha nature itself, the eternal presence watching the dance of time. We transition now with quiet awareness. We have sat with the mountain, learning stillness as the deepest teaching. Next, we explore transformation, how Buddha nature remains present through all changes of form, constant within metamorphosis. Let us continue together into the mystery of becoming that reveals the unchanging. The chrysalis dream. Transformation and constancy. Change is the only constant, yet something remains unchanged through all change. The caterpillar becomes butterfly, the seed becomes tree, winter becomes spring, yet Buddha nature persists through every transformation. Tonight, we explore metamorphosis, not as the destruction of one thing and creation of another, but as the continuous presence of one nature expressing itself through different forms. What you are essentially never changes, even as everything about you transforms. In a monastery garden, a teacher named Hana kept silkworms to teach her students about impermanence and transformation. One spring day, she gathered the students around a chrysalis hanging from a mulberry branch. This caterpillar has enclosed itself in this cocoon, she explained. Inside, its body is dissolving completely, breaking down into liquid. Everything that was caterpillar is being unmade. Does this mean the caterpillar has died? The students debated among themselves, some saying yes, others saying no. A young student named Kira asked, "Teacher, if the caterpillar's body completely dissolves, what carries the pattern for the butterfly? What remembers how to rebuild into something with wings?" Hannah smiled at the depth of the question. "Excellent, Kira. Inside this seeming destruction, something persists. Scientists call it imaginal cells, cells that carry the blueprint for the butterfly form. But we might also see it as the Buddha nature that was present in the caterpillar and will be present in the butterfly, unchanged by the transformation of form." The students watched the chrysalis in silence. Another student, older and skeptical, challenged, "Teacher, are you saying the caterpillar and butterfly are the same being? They look completely different. They move differently. They eat different food. How can they be the same?" Hana touched the chrysalis gently. "They are not the same form, true, but is the form the being? When you were an infant, your body was completely different from now. The cells have been replaced many times. Your thoughts and knowledge are transformed. Are you the same being you were as an infant, or a different being?" The students struggled with this. Kira spoke slowly. "I feel I am the same person, but everything about me has changed. What makes me the same?" Hana nodded. "Yes, what makes you the same? Not your body, not your thoughts, not your knowledge or memories. What has been present from your birth until now, unchanged? What witnesses all the changes without itself changing? This is Buddha nature. The awareness that was present when you were infant is present now and will be present in your old age. Forms change, awareness remains. This teaching illuminates the relationship between change and continuity. Buddhism emphasizes impermanence, anicca, the truth that all conditioned things change. Yet it also teaches about the unconditioned, that which does not change, the Buddha nature that persists through all transformations. These are not contradictory, but complementary truths. At the level of form, everything changes. At the level of essential nature, nothing changes. Both are simultaneously true. The chrysalis stage is particularly instructive because the transformation is so complete. The caterpillar truly dissolves, its body breaking down into cellular soup. Yet something persists. The organizing principle, the blueprint, the continuity of being. From Buddhist perspective, this is like death and rebirth. The form completely changes, but the stream of consciousness, the Buddha nature, continues. You are not your body or your thoughts, so their transformation does not end you. Dogen wrote about continuous practice, gyoji, suggesting that practice and realization are not separate stages, but one ongoing process. The caterpillar is always already the butterfly in potential. The butterfly is always still the caterpillar in origin. Similarly, you are always already Buddha, yet continuously becoming Buddha. Awakening is both sudden recognition and gradual unfolding. You realize what has always been true, yet this realization deepens and matures over time. This understanding brings peace with change. If you identify with your current form, age threatens you, change frightens you, death seems like annihilation. But if you recognize yourself as the awareness witnessing form, then transformation becomes natural. The caterpillar does not mourn becoming butterfly. The seed does not grieve sprouting into sapling. They surrender to transformation, trusting the continuity of their essential nature. You can do the same, releasing attachment to current forms while recognizing the Buddha nature that persists through all changes. As you rest tonight, reflect on your own transformations. You have been infant, child, adolescent, adult. You have held different opinions, different identities, different dreams. Everything about you has changed multiple times. Yet something remains, the awareness that has witnessed every stage. This witnessing presence is what you truly are, your Buddha nature that was never born and will never die. Let your body rest, let your mind quiet, let yourself dissolve like the caterpillar in the chrysalis, trusting that what you essentially are cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Tomorrow you will wake slightly changed, and this is perfect. Change is how Buddha nature dances through time. We move gently into new understanding. We have witnessed transformation and the unchanging essence within change. Next, we explore the horizon where boundaries dissolve, where questions of beginning and ending lose meaning. Let us continue together into the boundless nature of Buddha nature itself. The horizon line, beyond boundaries. Where does Buddha nature begin? Where does it end? These questions assume boundaries that do not exist. Tonight we explore the boundless nature of awakened awareness, how it has no edges, no inside or outside, no here versus there. The horizon seems to mark where earth meets sky, but approach it and the boundary retreats. Buddha nature is like this, appearing to have limits until you examine closely, then revealing itself as infinite, unbounded, including all while being contained by nothing. A student named Sora walked with her master along the ocean shore at sunset. The sky blazed orange and pink, meeting the dark water in a sharp line. Sora had been studying koans about Buddha nature, wrestling with questions of its location and extent. "Master," she asked, "where does Buddha nature begin? Is it only in living beings, or does it extend into the ocean, the sky, the stars?" The master stopped walking and pointed to the horizon. "Tell me, Sora, where does the ocean end and the sky begin?" Sora looked at the clear line where water met air. "Right there, master. The horizon is the boundary between ocean and sky." The master smiled. "Walk with me toward that line. Let us go touch the place where ocean becomes sky." They walked along the beach for an hour, but the horizon remained always the same distance away, unreachable. Sora began to laugh, understanding dawning. "Master, there is no actual line. The horizon is an optical illusion created by distance and perspective. Ocean and sky touch everywhere and nowhere." The teacher nodded. "Yes, and the same is true for Buddha nature. Your mind wants to draw boundaries. Buddha nature is in this, but not that. begins here and ends there. But these boundaries are like the horizon, artifacts of limited perspective rather than actual divisions in reality. Approach any boundary closely and it dissolves. Does Buddha nature reside in your head or your heart? Look closely and you cannot find where head ends and heart begins, where body ends and air begins, where you end and the world begins. Sora asked, "Then Buddha nature is everywhere? It includes everything." The master picked up a handful of sand and let it run through her fingers. Is this sand part of Buddha nature? Is the ocean? Is the space between stars? The mind wants to answer yes or no, but both answers miss the truth. Buddha nature is not a substance that fills space like water fills a cup. It is more like space itself, the openness that allows all things to exist. Can you measure space? Can you say where space begins or ends? This teaching challenges our dualistic thinking. We are accustomed to dividing reality into categories: self and other, inside and outside, sacred and mundane. But these divisions exist in thought, not in reality. Reality is seamless, continuous, undivided. The boundaries we perceive are useful for navigating practical life, but become obstacles when seeking truth. Buddha nature cannot be grasped by dualistic mind because it transcends and includes all dualities. Nagarjuna, the great Buddhist philosopher, taught about the middle way between extremes. Buddha nature is not exactly everything, which would be the extreme of eternalism, nor is it nothing, which would be the extreme of nihilism. It is beyond both being and non-being, beyond all conceptual categories. Any statement you make about it is partially true and partially false, because language operates through distinctions, and Buddha nature precedes all distinctions. The Lankavatara Sutra speaks of reality as beyond the four alternatives. It is not existent, not non-existent, not both, not neither. This frustrates logical mind, which wants clear answers. But the frustration itself is valuable, showing you the limits of conceptual thinking. Buddha nature cannot be understood through logic alone, but must be experienced directly. When you stop trying to conceptualize it and simply rest in awareness, the question of boundaries becomes irrelevant. The teaching has practical implications. If Buddha nature has no boundaries, then you are not separate from it, not outside looking in. You are not working towards something distant, but resting in something present. You cannot fall outside Buddha nature because there is no outside. You cannot lose it because it is not an object that can be misplaced. Like a fish swimming in the ocean asking where is water, you are already completely immersed in what you seek. As you rest tonight, release the habit of drawing boundaries. Let go of inside and outside, self and other, here and there. Notice how awareness has no location, no edges, no walls. It is simply here, everywhere and nowhere, including everything without being contained by anything. This boundless awareness is your Buddha nature, infinite and intimate, vast as the universe, yet closer than your breath. Rest in this unbounded openness, this horizon that retreats before every approach, this mystery that cannot be grasped but only lived. We transition softly to our next teaching. We have explored the boundless nature that defies all boundaries, the horizon that exists only in perception. Now we discover how individual expression coexists with universal nature, how the wave is both itself and the ocean. Let us continue together into the paradox of unity and diversity, the candle flame, individual and universal. You are utterly unique and completely universal, simultaneously. No one else has your exact fingerprints, your precise memories, your particular perspective. Yet, at the deepest level, you are not separate from any being. Tonight, we explore how Buddha nature expresses itself as the 10,000 things while remaining one nature, how diversity and unity are not opposites, but aspects of the same reality. Like flames lit from one source, we are each distinct, yet share the same essential nature of light. In an ancient temple ceremony called the Festival of Light, hundreds of people gathered in darkness. At the center of the hall stood the head monk holding a single lit candle. One by one, participants approached with unlit candles. Each touched their wick to the flame, lit their candle, then passed the light to others. Within an hour, the hall blazed with hundreds of flames, all descended from the original candle. A child named Mina watched this process with wonder and confusion. Mina approached the head monk after the ceremony. "Teacher," she asked, "are all these flames the same flame or different flames? If I light my candle from yours, is my flame yours or mine?" The monk smiled at the question that had puzzled philosophers for centuries. "Excellent question, Mina. What do you think?" Mina considered carefully. "My flame looks different from yours. It flickers in its own way. If I blow mine out, yours keeps burning. So they must be different flames. But my flame came from yours, carries the same light, burns with the same nature. So maybe they are the same." The monk knelt to Mina's eye level. "Both answers are true. Your flame is unique, individual, distinctly yours. No other flame flickers exactly like it. Yet all flames share the same nature of light, the same essence of burning. If we trace all these flames back, they came from one source. In this way, they are one. The question is not which answer is correct, but can you hold both truths simultaneously? Can you see yourself as both utterly unique and completely universal?" Mina asked, "Is this what you mean by Buddha nature? That we are all different, like the individual flames, but all share the same light?" The monk nodded. "Yes, and even more than this. Notice that when I lit your candle from mine, my flame did not diminish. My light did not decrease when it became your light. This is the miracle. Buddha nature is not divided when it expresses as many beings. Each being has complete Buddha nature, not a portion of it. You do not have less because others exist. The ocean is fully present in every wave." This teaching resolves an apparent paradox. How can Buddha nature be one and yet exist in countless beings? If it is one, should we all be identical? If we are different, how can we share one nature? The candle ceremony demonstrates the answer. The light is one nature. The flames are multiple expressions. Each expression is complete in itself, not a fragment of wholeness, but wholeness manifesting as particularity. Thich Nhat Hanh used the metaphor of wave and water. Each wave has its own shape, height, trajectory. Waves are born, live briefly, and dissolve back into ocean. From the wave's perspective, it is individual and temporary. But from the water's perspective, there is only water taking waveform. The wave is not separate from ocean, but ocean appearing as wave. You are like this. Buddha nature appearing as you, unique in expression, yet not separate from the universal nature. This understanding transforms loneliness into belonging. You are not an isolated individual struggling alone in an indifferent universe. You are the universe experiencing itself as individual, the whole expressing itself as part. Your uniqueness is not separation, but celebration, diversity within unity. Like musical notes that are distinct yet compose one symphony, beings are different yet participate in one reality. The diversity enriches rather than fragments the whole. The teaching also addresses spiritual pride and comparison. If each flame has complete light, not more or less than others, then no being is superior or inferior in Buddha nature. The great master and the confused beginner both embody complete Buddha nature. Development differs, realization varies, but essential nature is equal. This prevents the spiritual materialism of accumulating achievements or comparing yourself to others. You cannot increase your Buddha nature through practice, only recognize it more clearly. As you rest tonight, feel yourself as both wave and ocean, both individual flame and universal light. Your particular life, with its specific joys and sorrows, thoughts and experiences, is utterly unique, unrepeatable, precious. Yet the awareness witnessing this life is not separate from the awareness in all beings. The Buddha nature in you is identical to the Buddha nature in every person who has ever lived, every creature, every manifestation. You are simultaneously the individual dancing and the whole dance. Rest in both truths, holding the paradox lightly, knowing you are uniquely yourself and universally all. We prepare now for the next teaching. We have discovered how individual expression and universal nature coexist, how the many and the one are not opposed. Next, we explore the journey that brings us home to what we never left, the search that ends in recognition. Let us continue together into the final movements of this night's teaching. The return home, recognition, not achievement. You have been searching for what you already are. The entire spiritual journey is a circle that brings you back to the beginning, but with new eyes. Tonight, we explore the great revelation that Buddha nature is not somewhere else, not in the future, not hidden in special states, but here, now, always present, waiting only to be recognized. The treasure you seek has been in your own home all along. Awakening is not becoming something new, but seeing clearly what has always been true. There is an old story told in many traditions about a man named Rio, who spent his entire life seeking a precious treasure. He had heard tales of a jewel of infinite value hidden somewhere in the world. He sold all his possessions, said goodbye to his family, and traveled the earth. He crossed deserts, climbed mountains, sailed oceans, visited every temple and teacher he could find. Decades passed. His hair turned white, his body weakened, his hope dimmed. Finally, old and exhausted, he returned to his childhood home, defeated and empty-handed. The house where Rio was born still stood, abandoned and decaying. He entered the familiar rooms, touching walls he had touched as a child, remembering his life before the search began. In the back corner of his old bedroom, beneath the floorboards where he used to play, he noticed something he had never seen before. He pried up the boards, and there, wrapped in cloth, sat the jewel he had spent his entire life seeking. It had been beneath his childhood home all along, waiting while he searched the world. Rio sat holding the jewel, weeping at the irony, the wasted years, the futile journey. Then suddenly he laughed, understanding something deeper. The journey was not wasted. Without it, he would not have valued this discovery. Without searching the world, he would never have returned home. Without exhausting every external path, he would never have looked within. The seeking itself brought him to readiness for finding. The circle was necessary. The return was always part of the journey. An old teacher, who had known Rio since childhood, appeared in the doorway. "You found it," the teacher said simply. Rio asked through tears, "Why did you not tell me? Why did you let me waste my life searching when the treasure was here?" The teacher sat beside him. "Would you have believed me? If I had told you as a young man that enlightenment is already present within you, would you have understood? Or would you have needed to search everywhere else first, to exhaust all external seeking, to discover through your own experience that what you seek cannot be found outside. This parable captures the paradox of spiritual practice. Buddha nature is already present, complete, lacking nothing. You do not need to create it, earn it, or achieve it. Yet for most people, simply being told this is insufficient. The mind needs to search, practice, strive, and eventually exhaust itself. Only then, in the stillness after seeking ends, can you recognize what was always here. The journey is not to somewhere else, but to here. The time it takes is the time required to stop looking elsewhere. Hakuin, the Japanese Zen master, wrote a famous poem that includes these lines. Not knowing how near the truth is, people seek it far away. What a pity. They are like someone who, in the midst of water, cries out in thirst. This is the human condition, surrounded by what we seek, yet unable to see it. Buddha nature is nearer than near, more intimate than your breath, closer than your thoughts. Yet we look past it, through it, around it, seeking something more dramatic or distant. The teaching suggests that awakening is recognition, not accomplishment. Like suddenly seeing the hidden image in a stereogram, or recognizing someone familiar you momentarily did not recognize. Awakening is seeing what was always visible but overlooked. Nothing changes in reality, only your perception shifts. The Buddha nature that seems to dawn newly has been here always. You simply stopped not seeing it. This recognition brings both relief and humor. Relief because the seeking can end, the striving can cease. Humor because of the cosmic joke. What you sought was the seeker itself. What you tried to achieve was already the achiever. The eye cannot see itself, yet is always present. Awareness cannot objectify itself, yet is always aware. Buddha nature cannot be found because it is the finder, not the found. When this becomes clear, laughter is the natural response. As you rest tonight, come home. Come home to this breath, this moment, this simple awareness that has accompanied you through every experience of your life. Stop seeking and notice what remains when seeking stops. This awareness, this knowing presence, this is what you are. Not the thoughts, not the body, not the emotions, but the space in which all of these appear. You are home. You have always been home. The journey brought you full circle, and this is perfect. Rest now in the recognition that Buddha nature is not something to find, but something to be, and you are already being it, have never stopped being it, could never stop being it. We approach the conclusion of our night's journey together. We have discovered that the search leads home, that what we seek, we already are. Now we prepare to rest in this recognition, to allow sleep to come with the peace of knowing nothing is missing, nothing needs to be different. Let us complete this teaching and surrender to the embrace of rest. You are here, and this is enough. Every breath you have taken tonight has brought you closer to this simple recognition. You already possess everything you have been seeking. The Buddha nature that exists in all beings lives fully in you, undimmed by any mistake, unblemished by any confusion, complete in this very moment. As we prepare to rest, let yourself settle into this truth like a bird returning to its nest at twilight, weary from flight, but finally home. Allow your body to soften now, releasing the effort of the day. Your shoulders can drop, your jaw can relax, your breath can find its natural rhythm without guidance or control. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, no state you need to achieve. The striving that has carried you through your life can rest now. The Buddha nature within you does not require your effort to exist. It has been here before you were born. It will remain after this body returns to earth. It asks only that you stop overlooking it. Stop searching past it for something more. Tonight we have walked together through many teachings, many stories, many moments of recognition. We have seen Buddha nature in the original face you wore before birth, in the stone Buddha and the wild dog, in polluted streams and broken bowls. We have discovered it in the shared breath connecting all beings, in the weed growing uninvited through temple stones, in the empty hand that holds infinite possibility. We have sat with mountains in stillness, watched the chrysalis transform, approached the horizon that forever retreats. We have been individual flames lit from one source, and we have returned home to find the treasure was never elsewhere. These are not separate teachings, but one teaching expressed through different images. Buddha nature is what you are, not what you must become. It is the awareness reading these words right now, the presence that has witnessed every moment of your life without judgment or commentary. It is closer than close, simpler than simple, more obvious than obvious. And yet it is also vast as space, deep as the ocean, mysterious as existence itself. You are both the drop and the ocean, both the wave and the water, both individual and universal, both temporary and eternal. As sleep approaches, there is no need to hold on to these teachings or remember every story. Let them dissolve like salt in water, flavoring your consciousness without needing to remain as separate pieces. What matters is not intellectual understanding, but direct recognition. And this recognition happens in silence, in stillness, in the space between thoughts. You do not need to try to recognize Buddha nature. Simply rest and let recognition arise naturally, like the sun appearing at dawn without effort or announcement. You are sufficient exactly as you are. The person you have been today, with whatever joys or struggles, successes or failures, is a perfect expression of Buddha nature learning about itself. There is nothing wrong with you, nothing lacking, nothing that needs fixing before you can rest in peace. The shame you might carry, the regret about past actions, the worry about future challenges, these are like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. They appear real and solid, but they are temporary visitors, not your true nature. Your true nature is the sky itself, vast and accommodating, damaged by no storm, stained by no pollution, unchanged by any weather. Rest as this sky tonight. Let thoughts drift like clouds. Let sensations pulse like distant thunder. Let emotions color the horizon like sunset. But know yourself as the spacious awareness that holds all of this without being changed by any of it. This is your Buddha nature, your original face, your deepest truth. As you drift towards sleep, remember that even sleep is Buddha nature expressing itself. The consciousness that dims and shifts into dreams is not separate from the consciousness that witnesses waking life. Deep, dreamless sleep, where no thoughts or images arise, is not unconsciousness, but pure consciousness without objects. It is Buddha nature resting in itself, awareness aware of awareness alone. Trust this process. Trust the letting go. Trust the dissolution of self that happens naturally as sleep arrives. There is something profoundly sacred in the act of falling asleep. You release control, surrender identity, let the boundaries of self dissolve into vast, undefined space. Every night you practice a small death, and every morning you experience a small rebirth. Yet what you truly are persists through both, unchanged by sleep or waking, by death or life. This continuity is Buddha nature, the deathless witnessing all changes, the unborn present before all births. If you find yourself awake later tonight, mind racing with thoughts or body uncomfortable with sensation, Remember what you are. You are not the thoughts, not the discomfort, not the restlessness. You are the awareness that knows these experiences, the space in which they appear. From this recognition, you can relate to difficulty with compassion rather than resistance, watching insomnia or pain the way you would watch rain, acknowledging it without becoming it. This shift in perspective, from identifying with content to resting as awareness, is the essence of practice and the heart of freedom. Tomorrow when you wake, the same Buddha nature that rests with you tonight will rise with you. It will witness your first breath, your first thought, your first movement. It will accompany you through whatever the day brings, unchanging presence in the midst of constant change. And if you forget, if you get lost in stress or confusion, in grasping or aversion, that is also Buddha nature playing at forgetting, practicing the game of hide and seek with itself. There is no failure in this, only the eternal dance of recognition and forgetting, remembering and releasing. If these words have touched something deep within you, if this night's journey has brought you even a moment of peace or recognition, you are welcome to return whenever you need this refuge. Subscribe to keep this sanctuary available, a place you can come when the world feels too loud, too harsh, too disconnected from truth. But know also that you carry this sanctuary within you always. The peace you find here is not created by words or voice, but revealed by your own returning to presence, your own recognition of what you are beneath all doing and becoming. The Buddha nature in you is identical to the Buddha nature in every being who has ever lived. The same awareness that looked through the Buddha's eyes looks through yours now. The same presence that animated ancient sages animates you this moment. You are not separate from this lineage, not excluded from this awakening. You are it. You have always been it. And the entirety of practice is simply remembering what you have temporarily forgotten. So rest now, dear one. Rest in the recognition that you are held by something vast and loving, that you belong to the fabric of existence itself, that you are not an accident or mistake, but a necessary expression of the universe knowing itself. Rest in Buddha nature as Buddha nature, being what you have always been. Let sleep come like a gentle tide, carrying you into the ocean of awareness that has no shore, no boundary, no end. The journey of 1,000 miles brings you here, to this breath, this moment, this simple being. And this is not the end, but the beginning, the ground from which all journeys arise and to which all journeys return. You are home. You are whole. You are enough. Good night. May you rest deeply in the nature that is your deepest nature. May you wake tomorrow with fresh eyes to see the Buddha nature in all beings, in all things, in yourself. And if this teaching has served you, if you wish to return to this peaceful harbor, subscribe and come back whenever your heart calls for this reminder. But for now, simply rest. Simply be. Simply allow yourself to dissolve into the vast awareness that is your true home. You are Buddha nature. You have always been Buddha nature. Sleep well in this recognition.